Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new GameItAll.com podcast. I'm Lucas Grimm.
Hey, what up? It's Pino 25.
This is the podcast for April 26, 2019. And,
Yeah.
okay, so we were gone for a week, and I noticed this. It seems like when we go for that week, like sometimes we'll go for multiple weeks at a time, like to do the podcast, and nothing happens. The minute we take a day off or a week off,
Shit
shit
hits the
blows up.
fans.
Shit hits the fans.
Well,
So,
or a lot of stuff happens. But this week, holy fuck, we had a huge interview.
we had an interview?
The architect
Right,
from
right, right.
Sony.
Yes. Sorry about that. Yes.
That was like the biggest thing that happened.
Well, there's a lot of things that happen.
Well, yeah, but that was huge because he talked about next gen in details.
Yeah, so that was actually very interesting because this is the first time we get to hear anything about the PS5. We know it's in development because, of course, it is. It's in development.
Well, yeah. Well, we also we heard from Microsoft what they were doing at E3 because Phil came on stage like he does, and he talked about what was going on next gen with what's it called?
Project Anaconda or something like that.
Well, Project something. I can't remember. So he talked about that last year and a little bit before that, and Sony was completely mum about it, and it really did not say anything. But Mark Cerny, so Mark Cerny is a big player in the PlayStation in Sony's gaming universe because in 2012 or 2010 he got hired by Sony to start developing the PS4. So the architecture, so he's essentially the chief architecture of the Sony hardware. So he's been there since for the PS4 and now for the PS5. And he talked in great detail with Wired Magazine about what Sony is planning, what Sony is doing with the PlayStation 5. As a tech person, I wasn't really surprised by a lot of the stuff that came out of that interview because it made sense. It made sense from what they were doing with the PS4 moving to the PS5 because a lot of stuff was similar architecture, but just where we are today. So we're gonna start with the tech specs, I guess.
Yeah,
Is that
definitely.
good?
Yeah, sound good.
Okay, so the tech specs on the system, Sony is going again with AMD and using a APU system that we had on the PS4 with the new Ryzen 3 or 3000 CPUs. It's going to be an 8-core, 16-thread system. We knew about this already because they had a deal with Sony on the PS4, and then now with the PS5 they're doing the same thing. And also with AMD, we know in the next couple months they're coming out with Ryzen 3000. So it's not really a surprise. They're budget-based chips. It'll fit perfectly in the system. The other thing that Mark Cerny talked about was hard drive, was putting an SSD in a console. We've had spinny hard drives for freaking ever now, and they're going to be implementing SSDs in it, but not just regular SSDs of it's a drive that you throw in the machine with a cable or an adapter. It's going to be soldered directly on the board. And that's impressive because you're no longer limited by the cable or the port or the interface. It's just direct. So it's going to be super freaking fast. And then also Mark Cerny was talking about getting to play Spider-Man and the game loading at 19 times faster. So it was crazy fast. This will be the next step in the evolution of console gaming with the SSDs. That's where it's at. So that's really impressive. Afterwards, the things that I'm like, oh my god, seriously. So he mentioned 8K and also ray tracing. Well, let's start with ray tracing. Ray tracing is the buzzword in the industry at the moment because it all started back in a September or October, whenever Nvidia showed off their new graphics cards, and they said, we're doing ray tracing. We have a real-time ray tracing. Yes, they do, because they actually have a chip inside of their cards that can do the ray tracing. But ray tracing is nothing new. It's been around for 40 freaking years of graphics. It's essentially just how you do lighting and how the light reflects off objects in the 3D environment. It's nothing new, but NVIDIA figured out how to do it on hardware. You can also do it software based, like the during Stadia presentation, Crytek showed off a demo with their engine. It was amazing. So ray tracing, I don't know if they're going to be able to implement it, but ray tracing can also be done by sound, because Mark Cerny also talked about the whole sound thing, and Sony wanted to push sound. So more spatial sound and more bigger environments in sound and a bigger push of sound. So that's exciting if they can do it in a sound aspect. I think that's where they're going to go to. The other thing is 8K. Well, right now in the moment, we are just hitting 4K in the mainstream. The Xbox One X can barely do 30 frames per second at 8K. Mainstream graphics cards can't do 8K unless you buy an RTX 2060, 70, 80, 80 Ti, and these are anywhere between $600 to $1,500 Canadian. It is a lot of money. There's no way in hell that this box is going to be able to do 8K. It'll do 4K, where they're going to be pointing at. The only way they can do 8K is either upscaling, which is logical, or 8K in the menus, or Netflix. Your thoughts?
Oh, okay. That seems right.
Because 8K is just not feasible at the moment. Yes, you could do 8K if you would have two RTX 2080 Ti's put together in an SLI setup. But that would cost you $1,800 times two, $3,200.
And no one's going to want to pay that for a console.
No. And like, I can understand Netflix, but even then, at the moment in time that we're talking about this right now, 8K for content wise, there's nothing. There's maybe if you have like a red camera, and that's a $20,000 camera, and then a screen. You need an 8K screen. So 8K screens, well, shit, 4K screens are becoming normal right now. They're mainstream.
Exactly.
And then 8K, companies are just starting to come out with 8K. So Samsung has their 8Ks. They're between $7,000 to $20,000 Canadian. Sony just announced an 8K TV. It's a 98-inch. It's $70,000 American.
Jesus
that's a house.
Christ. Yeah, that's okay.
And it's not realistic. We're not to the point, and there's no way in hell that this, well, let's say $500 American, $499.99 box is gonna be able to support 8K, maybe in the menus or in streaming, but not in gameplay. That's for damn fucking sure. And that's fine, because who is gonna buy this to do 8K gaming? It's not feasible.
Now, the one thing that I know I was reading off from the things that it's supposed to be able to do, they are working in with backwards compatibility, and that makes me happy.
Well, and that's not surprising at all, because it's the exact same architecture. They're using x86 architecture. It is just literally a PS5. It's a PS4 that's more powerful.
Exactly.
So nothing really surprising.
So in this case, it all comes down now to the prices because it sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Well,
Now,
and that's the thing. Like, it all comes down to price. Price is always the thing. So if we look back at the, let's say, PS2 versus the original Xbox, well, the PS2 was more cheaper. It was $299, and it sold because it had a Blu-ray, it had DVD player.
right,
The PS3 versus the 360, 360 was $300. The PS3 was $600 and plus dollars. It
right,
didn't sell. Yes, it had a Blu-ray player, but it didn't sell because it was too expensive. The PS4 was cheaper than the Xbox by $100, and it sold like a motherfucker because it was cheaper than the Xbox. So it's all going to come down to price. If it's $4.99 American, $5.99 Canadian, it's going to sell. Anything higher than that, it's not going to sell.
No, I agree with that.
And whatever company has the cheaper console will win, because people don't want to spend more money than they have to.
No, that's exactly right. Like, you don't want to use your entire paycheck to buy a new console. You want to get it for a cheaper price. And
Well,
yes, it will come down, like, less than content. It will come down to price.
yeah, and there's four types of consumers. So there's the completely diehard people that are like, "Oh my god, I'm buying this because I bought all of them." So the people that just bought Xbox or people that just bought PlayStation, they'll buy whatever because that's what they buy. They're like people that buy cars. They're like people that buy a Ford. They just buy Ford.
Right.
And then afterwards, you have people like me or Sly that literally buy everything.
Yeah.
Well, we have to buy it because we have to buy it. And then you have people that follow trends that go, I'm going to buy it because of this. So they're going to buy the more popular system. And usually the more popular system is the cheaper system. And then you have parents that go, I'm not spending more than this much money. It's the cheaper one. I'm buying that. And that's why the Wii was popular, because it was cheap as all hell.
Exactly. And
Because people are cheap.
yeah, no, exactly. Nintendo did it right. They released that for a cheap price, and it became a big seller. It printed money. So
Yeah.
So that is what it's going to come down to at this point. And Sony does realize that, because they're like, yes, we are going to release it at a decent price range. We're not going to sell it for what it's worth at the launch.
Well, yeah, but if it's x86 architecture, that shit's cheap.
True. That is also true, though.
So, because like on day one of the PS4, they were making money. They didn't have to wait 5 years to make actual money. So we're gonna see. And also, like, looking at what Microsoft's doing, Phil's not an idiot.
No.
And
No,
also looking at Microsoft, so Microsoft is releasing two systems. So they have the Anaconda, which is the more expensive one, and then they have the other one that I can't remember the name.
Right.
What was the
Okay.
name?
I don't remember now.
Yeah. So there's two systems. There's going to be a cheap one and a more expensive. So literally what we have right now with the S and the X.
Yeah.
So there's the cheap and the more expensive.
So if they can get in with the cheap one, like to just go under Sony's nose for this, they could end up winning this.
And I completely see it. Microsoft in the past 2 years has completely turned it around, and Microsoft, from what I can see, is going to win. The first 2 years of the next console generation, Microsoft is going to win because Phil. That's it.
That's very possibility.
And it all comes down to price, because people are fine with the third-party games. You know, the exclusives are exclusives, but people will buy systems because it's cheaper. So I have a feeling that they're going to win out And I have a feeling that Microsoft's going to win out for the first 2 years, and it's going to be like not this generation, but last generation with the PS3 and the 360. And also, people are freaking out that Microsoft has the Anaconda console, which is going to be more powerful than the PS5. But the thing is, with a system that, yes, it could be twice as powerful, but the problem is, do people not remember SNES versus Neo Geo back in 1991? Yeah, the Neo Geo was tons more powerful. It was a arcade system in your home plugged into your TV, but it was 3 times the fucking price. It was the SNES was $199 and the Neo Geo was $650. Yeah, cool. It's super much more powerful, but if it's costing you 3 times the price, is it really worth it? No. The SNES was still worth it. It was a much better system because it didn't cost you 3 times the price, and for 3 times the price, you could buy a shitload of games. So, what up?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents. Jesus Christ. But like, I'm not gonna be surprised that the cheap Xbox comes in, let's say $50 less, just to tell Sony to fuck off. Sony's gonna come in with $499. Xbox is gonna be $350 or $450, just to tell people to fuck off. And then you're gonna have the much more expensive one that's probably gonna be double the price.
Now we are going to have to wait and see, and likely where we're going to see this this clash start is going to be around E3 time. So because we have Microsoft is going to be at the show during the conferences, and it seems like they're ready to tell you more about it, but they haven't actually dedicated themselves to actually say it. So I'm going to say E3 is going to be likely we're going to hear more about the Xbox. And supposedly the rumor is around sometime around E3, Sony's also going to have their own state of play thing that they keep doing now, which is the last one was horrible, by the way. Just I'm putting that out there.
It was bad.
So they're going to do another. The rumor is another state of play is coming out around that time. And that is possibly going to be when we're going to see more about the PlayStation 5. Possibly the official announcement. We'll, of course, know more as that comes closer.
Yeah, well, and also we're at least a year and a half away.
A year and a half away at least.
Because we're looking at probably October or November 2020 at the bare minimum. Because we're not getting anything this Christmas because we're still too early. And companies love to release shit at Christmas time.
Right.
So, and that's just it. And I'm intrigued to see what the prices are, but I'm pretty sure that the Anaconda is going to be twice the price of whatever Sony has. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next topic here. And that was actually a big announcement that came just within the last couple days. It was an announcement that we knew was coming, but of course we had to wait. And that is we have 2 new Persona games on its way, and I'm excited.
Atlas made us wait.
Atlas has made us wait for it.
Yeah, but anything Persona is usually super exciting.
Yes, exactly. Because the game's great.
It's not really surprising because Atlas usually does this. They usually do multiple releases of the Persona game. So look at Persona 3. We had 3 different versions of that freaking game. We had the base game, we had the FES, and then we also had the portable one. So when I first heard that they were releasing new games, I thought they were doing what they did with Persona 3. So FES was going to be on the PS4, so essentially an extended version, and then we had the S release, which I thought it was going to be a Switch port. Turned out we were completely wrong.
So yeah,
that's fine.
Let's break down a little bit of this here. So, first thing that we have is Persona 5 R. This is the game we knew was coming out, and that is the new extended edition. So,
Yeah.
and this is going to have, there's a large amount of stuff that's actually being added in that makes it a completely different game. So,
Yeah.
like, first off, we have a new semester to go through. And then, like, because a lot of people, that was a complaint for Persona 5 is that we didn't really finish the school year, per se. So this is going to be a new change, and that is actually something that's very welcome. Plus, we also have a new character, a new thief that's going to join the Phantoms, and that is this new girl here. I believe her name was Kasumi. Yeah, Kasumi Yoshizawa. So she's going to be a new, the new character, and she looks really cool. She's kind of like a mix of Mitsuru from Persona 3, where she's a dancer. She has like a saber-like sword, and of course they gave her a lever action rifle, which is awesome. We also have, aside from that, a new confidant who works as a counselor for Sujin Academy. There's new locations to explore. There's new combat elements. So it looks like from the trailer, they showed off something that looked like a double teamed attack where Noir was riding on a Morgana van blasting people with the grenade launcher, which was awesome.
Well, yeah, you always need the Morgana van.
Exactly.
Always. Morgana, it was one of the best characters in the damn game.
So we also have there's new animation for the game. There's a new dating location, a bar where you can go to and play pool and darts. So there's a lot of extra stuff. So this is definitely something that's more than just a why didn't you just release the updated stuff over like online?
Yeah, no, it's not
what
DLC.
a lot of people are. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are complaining about at the moment is that
it's a full release.
It's not a DLC, it's a full release. There's a reason why it's a full release. There's a lot of extra content. Well, it's not like how Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition where it just threw in some extra stuff.
Yeah, but also it's Atlas, and it's Atlas being Atlas.
Yeah, and
of just releasing a new version of the game.
Exactly.
That's fine. So, I knew I was going to buy it because I was just going to buy it.
It's Persona, yeah.
Yeah, and like I own all the other versions of the games. So now we got S. So they teased S a couple months ago, and we got a full release, a full announcement of S. And holy fuck, not what I was expecting with S.
I don't think anybody was expecting this. Because let's be honest, when we first saw Atlas and then Koei Temco show up, it just kind of our minds started racing on that, and it's like, okay, we're getting a Dynasty Warriors Persona game, and that is just not computing in my head. But it looks awesome just from the little bit of gameplay they showed off, and that one will be coming for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So
yes,
Switch owners will get to play that one at least.
I am very excited to pick that up on the Switch.
And
very excited.
Yeah, because the Dynasty Warrior games are always good. Like you always. Well, they're just
it's mindless fun.
Exactly, and usually when they do branch off, like have Hyrule Warriors or Berserk, even Attack on Titan, there's always something a little bit special that gets thrown in that just feels like a lot of fun. And that's exactly what I'm noticing here, because it is a very heavily RPG inspired system now, and definitely something I'm interested in to see more of.
Yeah.
And now, well, that was like the big announcements for Persona, and of course that was all done during the Persona concert that's happening to kick off a Golden Week for Japan, and it's like I was kind of sad that we only got the 2 announcements, but then it also occurred to me that Persona Q2 is coming out in just a couple more
Soon.
months, so we will get more Persona soon.
Yep. Well, and also like they gave us the dates for Persona 5R, which is coming out in September in Japan and in 2020 in North America. So I'm guessing probably around what?
October
October?
October 31st in Japan.
Okay, whatever. So we're probably going to get it around the same time as we got regular 5 in April. Cuz that's
Likely, I
when
can see that.
because that's when 5 released in Japan was in September, October. So we're probably going to get it about 6 months later.
So I'm curious about this. Are we going to run into the same problem about streaming Persona 5?
Probably. It's Atlas. Come on.
Well, yeah, that's true. But even like lately, a lot of the stickler companies, like say Bandai Namco, has been easing up on their against streamers for especially for their major RPG games.
I don't know.
But I don't know. It'll be something we'll have to wait and see on that part.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, we're not done talking about Persona because we have a bit of a fuck up.
Stupid
here.
people?
This, well, I don't know who to blame exactly on this one, but I wanna talk about this still because we have just a couple weeks ago, Joker from Persona 5 has made his appearance in Smash Bros.
Yep.
And that was a big announcement. I mean, we knew about him since the Game Awards, but actually finally getting to play as him, and he's a bit overpowered now, but still enjoyable. So that happened, and with the update, I mean, you had Mementos being able to change stages, change colors, all thanks to the music that's being played. It came to somebody's attention that somebody wanted somebody to clarify something for them because they thought they misheard a lyric that was showing up in the song for Wake Up, Get Out There, which is the theme song for Persona 5. So you start up the game, that's the first song you're going to hear. During the song, there's a large gap where there's some silent, and you can hear like a small amount of singing in the background. That's not the actual lyric into the game, so no one actually knows what's being said. But during like the 157 mark of the song, it's a lot of people can hear the word retarded.
That's offensive.
And of course, that information where somebody was asking about that got up to our favorite outlet to shit on, Kotaku.
Oh,
So,
Kotaku. What a place.
like, don't get us wrong, Kotaku has its moments, and like,
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I did really enjoy the article about BioWare.
yeah, like sometimes when they actually do their work,
It's amazing.
they do good work. I'm not gonna
A lot of other
lie on that.
times, it's not that great.
Other times they do the thing where you're trying to be more political and sound smarter
Oh
than
my
what you actually
god.
are, where you want to lean into a controversy or what could be a controversy, so that it get that rage clicks to jump in, and occasionally, which is a good amount of times, you're wrong. Now,
Because
for
I
this,
bitch about them.
so here, let me put the microphone here for the time being, so I can properly look up something here. So, with that let me. I want to pull up the music review that they did here for Smash Bros. Because with this, they went in, they did their lookup, and they thought they heard it too. And this while they were attempting to do, they were attempting to do a like expose on it, and like, oh my god, you had we have this word in it, but it it wasn't actually the fact. Like Atlas and Nintendo didn't comment on the information about it until the article came out. Now, okay back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they went through this, they posted it. Nobody did the extra checks, especially, and this is like where you have to triple check everything. Who made the song, everything, like lyrics. If you're able to pull the lyrics, you get the quote from the people. But instead, they rushed it out and posted it. And it
There's your
them,
problem.
That is the problem right there. So when that went out, there was, they just said that it was retarded rather than the actual word, which ended up being retorted. So when that happened, let's see. There was some major things going on. I'm sorry, I'm having a time going through this article here, actually, to be honest. So they went through, they said that it people were pointing out that it's retorted. The singer is native Japanese and English is her second language. Like, not even well done, to be honest. And she sings in English, yes, but you do notice that it does come out like there is mispronunciations at time. And the songs for Persona have always been great on that, and it's definitely one of the highlights. So when we hear that, like we see that and people are pointing it out, it's like, no, it's this. Kotaku didn't point that out until almost 2 days later after the article was posted. And it's like, oh yeah, well, we reached out to Nintendo and Atlas. They haven't said anything at the moment. And a lot of people are saying it's retorted. So that being said, they're like, we're looking into this and we'll clarify these lyrics once we get a reply. Nintendo comes out and said, no, you got this wrong. We do not allow this. This is an E10 game. We have been very careful about this, like the content that goes into Smash Bros. And Atlas has even pointed that out as well. And the thing is, at that point, it took them longer to update the post, saying that we screwed up after they received all the notification and Nintendo even publicly went up and said it, than it did to post out the article.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a shit show right now, is what it was. And a lot of people are very mad at Kotaku, rightfully so. I mean, they pretty much went off on you did this without doing your research. You should have researched it, make sure of what was happening, and then, make your article. Because now you look like you're an idiot.
Yeah, but they love doing that. They love posting shit.
That is true. They did, like, that is one thing with them they always have, even when they were part of Gawker. Like, to be honest, when they were part of Gawker, I kind of expected this shit from them.
Well, and also they're arrogant. They just have this arrogance to them of thinking they're better than everyone.
I can almost confirm that with a lot of the people that's there. Like, I've had the pleasure of talking with a few of them, and
Well,
yeah,
and you read their stuff, and they have this whole like philosophy that they're better than everyone. That they're like, well, we're Kotaku, we're fancy. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, like it's one of those things. It's like, yeesh. You guys, dial it
Just
back a little.
it's just like just chill, just
yeah,
fucking chill.
but
Take a breath.
yeah. So it took them a long time. Like even it was almost. It was a few days after the post was made that we even got an update for it. So and that was let's see, took almost 4 to 5 days before they updated the post from the information I'm seeing here. Now, the original writer of the post, which she was going on about how they should remove it. It's like you know what, it was a screw up on my part. I gave it to my editor to do to finish up on the rest of the research, and it fell through. Now, of course, I'm going to say this. I am what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, Bob.
You don't know, Bob? Okay. But the word I'm looking for, that's like, I'm paraphrasing. That's it.
There you go.
That's the word. I'm paraphrasing a little bit with this, is that she was pretty much like, I made the mistake. We should take down the article. And Kotaku when they made the post saying that they screwed up, they said, yeah, we're not going to remove the article because it's on the internet. Why would we do that anyways? Which,
oh my god.
good point. But it took their content management system too long to make sure that everything updated. And it's like, it's good that they're updated now, but
but
the damage was already done.
Well, yeah, like that it's not good enough.
Yeah, it should have been like a jump on, like immediate jump on. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that one at, because it's something that's just why, like, it shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And this, okay, actually, no, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about this, because this is the thing. This song wasn't made for Smash Bros. So it wasn't like a new remix or anything like that, like how Behind the Mask is, or Beneath the Mask. It's the exact copy of the song that you hear on the game, on the original Persona 5, on Persona Dancing All Night, or Dancing in Starlight, and also, now Smash Bros. So the song has been blasted everywheres. It doesn't need to be like, it shouldn't have been something that was fought over at that point. Now, okay, so let's talk something else here with this. Now, so we got through Persona, we got through the PS5 specs. What's the next big one that we had?
What came out today?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh!
So, remember how I kept saying how Days Gone possibly
was going to be special?
There was going to be something special about it. It was going to have that Sony flair. And
no, the Sony magic. Where is the magic?
So
it didn't live up. It didn't live up to the hype.
According to the reviews, no, it did not live up to the hype.
So currently it has a 72 on Metacritic. And from what I can see, it's meh. It's trying to be a bunch of different games and it's failing. So it's trying to be Far Cry, Last of Us 2, Tomb Raider, and a couple other games all mushed in together. And it's trying to be too many things, and it's not happening.
No. So
it's mediocre.
Yeah, it just ended up being mediocre, which, it is, as you mentioned to me before, better than the last motorcycle game that we had.
Oh my god, better than the last motorcycle game. So, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, 72 is a good score for most games, but this is coming from a Sony first-party titled game.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Like that's where I'm understanding a lot of the anger because
like you look at all the past games. So like last year we had God of War, we had Spider-Man. What else did we have? We had Detroit. We had before that we had Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the list just continues of all these great uh games that had so much depth to them and were amazingly well done. So what went wrong? That's the real question.
well, I'm going to tell you right now what went wrong was the hype. Now, so what happened here about let's see, 2-3 months ago, we started getting posts about how Days Gone is actually looking pretty good. There's a few things that need to be fixed, but generally, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. And
This
I
came
believed you.
from once again outlets like Kotaku, IGN, and everyone else. But there was actually a good amount of people, like outlets, that were pretty much saying the same thing. Now, this is the great thing about this is that once that those articles came out, or once the review embargo came up, uh, those same groups that were saying how great it was with like GameSpot, IGN, Kotaku, all decided that was like, yeah, it's mediocre, it's crap, like, yeah, everything is kind of boring with it, and it's like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this? This article here is saying that these things were awesome. This article over here is now saying that it's awful. And they're all linking together with like both of these, and it's very weird. But yeah, I'm gonna say that's like the biggest problem for us is that the expectations got put up high with those articles.
Well, the problem is
And aside from that, like it's
Horizon.
also a Sony.
Well, the problem was Horizon Zero Dawn because for the longest time we had no sweet fucking clue what that game was gonna be. We didn't know it was a game that there was dinosaurs and they were mechanical machines, and that was it. And
Yeah,
you had Aloy, and you got to play as her, and she would kill the machines, and that's it. So we were expecting that with this, similar what we're getting with Death Stranding.
yeah, it's like very little media presence for those games
Anything.
for anything, and yeah, it like, and usually when Sony starts keeping things secret, that's when you're like, they have something. That's there's going to be some Sony magic there, but
Well,
it wasn't the
yeah.
case.
And that's just it. Like you look at the other Sony titles that we don't have much information. Same as that Ghost of whatever, the ninja game that I'm
Yep.
like, oh, same as Death Stranding that you're like, what the fuck is this? We were
Yeah, you're
expecting a lot more.
exactly. So I think what Sony needs to do is actually tell people a lot more about the games. Like start
Yeah,
opening
well,
themselves up to media, I think.
like we knew the problem was it was in development for a long freaking time and it came out and it just wasn't enough for people to go, oh my god, this is amazing. So,
No,
and also zombies are old.
now that being said, I have the game downstairs. It's all
Yeah,
set
same
up ready for me to go.
here. It's in the machine.
It's in the machine. It's all set up ready to go. I haven't played it yet.
I'm gonna go have some sleep and then get up tomorrow morning and play it, and we'll see.
Now, one game I have been playing though is Mortal Kombat 11, and
And people are pissed.
people are mad at that game, and there's a couple of things I'm going to give them a rightfully so. Yet I think it's a bit overblown at the moment. And
Well, I can understand where some of it's coming from if it goes away.
Yes, that's true. So here's the thing with Mortal Kombat 11, the customization gear is back. Like that's a feature from Injustice that got carried over. The thing is, there's a few things that's a little bit different with customization, and I'll try to explain it as much as I can because there's a couple things that are just a little bit strange for me right now with that. That's why we don't have the review up on the site at the moment. But with customization, you do have like cosmetic changes, which is mainly the case. A lot of it is all cosmetic, but there is the option to put in your own set of moves. So, like, you can have a customized combat move. Like, for example, if you choose Casey, you can grab onto your drone and do your special kick across the screen. That move doesn't exist if you don't have the variation set up. Now, the thing is, that's the only bit of things that actually affect any part of the gameplay. Everything else seems to be more, once again, cosmetic. There's no additional stats, nothing at least that would change up the game for a major effect. So that's one thing to go with here. That's a kind of a saving grace for the game. The thing that people are mad about is how long it will take to get all your customization items. And I'm not lying, it's going to take a long time. There's going to be a lot of playing through the game in order to unlock everything that's in that crypt and also get all this gear and everything that's set up for the characters. Now, the big problem that people are taking at this is the fact that a lot of it can be monetized for getting those currency items. And that is, of course, microtransactions and where people are getting angry about. You purchase a full game, and now you have to use your microtransactions to save yourself time.
Yeah, you paid full price. You paid $80 Canadian for a game, and now you have to pay money to unlock stuff early because Ed Boon wants your money. No, wait a minute. WB wants your money.
Yeah, I think it's less Ed Boon than it is WB. Let's be honest there.
I think it's WB. Yeah, because look at Shadow of War. That thing was a piece of crap.
That thing was like, when you take monetization into account, that
it is as bad as EA and Activision put together.
Yeah, and not a lot of people talk about that when they put it into the monetization stuff because it doesn't exist anymore. They took it all out. Now, here's the thing, though, because yes, there is a grind. If you want to unlock everything, there is a grind. That, though, is nothing new for Mortal Kombat, especially from Deadly Alliance up when they created the crypt to begin with. You had to fight to unlock currency items, or to get currency items to use that currency on the crypt to unlock art and special like bonus features. And they're bonus features. Let's be honest, you don't need them. But it is there. It's enjoyable. And it's a good reason to keep playing the game so that you have more money to unlock the stuff. You get all your currency and everything does come in the game from just playing matches. So you can go without spending money and you should be able to unlock everything.
But the one big piss off is you need their servers.
So that is the piss off that I actually don't hear too much about, to be honest, myself.
Right now.
For now,
because the game just released this week. But in a year and a half from now, when the game is no longer selling and making money, this could be a bigger issue because people don't have access to the WB servers when they need the access to the server to get the content. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that could be a problem. That's going to be a bridge I'm going to say we'll have to cross when we get there at that point. Because well, here's the thing though. NetherRealm has dedicated themselves to this game. Because they've said there is a plan of possibly 19 extra characters coming in. And that's a crazy amount of characters to join into the fight. But there's also something that we kind of expect from NetherRealm at this point too, because 8 characters from season 1 and 2 of Mortal Kombat X, and I believe was also 8 for Injustice as well.
Yeah, and that's all fine and dandy until they stop making money.
Well, that's the thing. If there's going to be 19 new characters to throw up, they're going to fucking pull a Street Fighter V on this.
And that game was a shit show.
Yes, but it's still playing. A lot of people are still enjoying it. And that is going to be the thing right there. As long as they update content and keep releasing new stuff, like possibly even new gear and new cosmetic, anything that's like a more game as service type thing, people will flock to play it. I hate that term.
I hate games as a service because essentially with games as a service, you feel freaking like you're held hostage because you have to play every single week to unlock the characters. Thanks, Forza.
So I'm not going to say game as service in that tone, actually, in this case, because it's more like we're going to keep updating frequently so that you have more stuff being added in
but then you can't. Yeah, okay, but then the people feel like they have to connect to play the game because of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Here, fine. We'll throw something else in. Overwatch. We'll take it as if it's Overwatch. You bought the game, you get content every few months where it's a new character, new map, or new game mode, and then that brings you back in for that little bit of time and you get to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm thinking is what NetherRealm will do. And it seems like that with all the tweets I'm seeing, especially from Ed, it seems like that's the push that they're going to go through. Well, of course, we won't know for sure until much later because like I said, this is a launch week. We're going to have to let it run its course. But yeah, that was I see why people are angry, but at the same time, it is time saving. It's not, you don't have to do this. And also, a lot of the stuff that gets unlocked, you have to either unlock it from the crypt or unlock it from the time towers.
Yeah.
Which is still a great way to do it. The problem is that the time towers, a lot of people are complaining, are too hard. And both the microtransaction area and the time towers itself are being investigated by NetherRealm, and Ed is advising that they're fixing it, at least from the tweets I've been seeing. So we should be seeing that fixed in the near future, and this will just become a non-issue.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and my only real problem is the servers. That's the real big issue. How long are we gonna?
I think that's not going to be an issue.
Well, because this is a fighting game. It's not. It's on your system. It shouldn't be. You're not really playing against people.
Yeah, I kind of understand. Well, you're online, and the online community for Mortal Kombat has always been very strong. So
yeah, but that's fine. But you should still have the content on your system.
Yeah, no, I agree with that part. But we'll see how that all turns out.
We'll see what happens. All right, what else is there?
So that is actually the last of our news here. So it's
okay, cool.
Time to go through the new releases of the week. And I didn't bring up the list before I started. I mean, what else is new, right?
not much.
Before we do go into that, we've actually had a lot of reviews put in, or 2 reviews put in this week. The first is Zoink Games Ghost Giant, which is one of our first VR games that we actually got to review. And for a kids VR game, definitely recommend it, especially if you're like not used to VR controls or anything. It is great. I recommend going back on that one. We're also going to be posting videos of that on our YouTube channel, so be sure to like and subscribe on that. And also, we have Vaporium, a steampunk dungeon crawler. I thought it was great, and it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very Bioshock-esque. If Bioshock was a full-blown dungeon crawler RPG.
I see.
And also, our Mortal Kombat review is going to be coming up very soon. And we'll also have a few other games coming up soon as well. I've been working mainly on reviews lately. So that's why there hasn't been as many updates on the website. Now, let's talk about the new releases. So we're going to start off with what came out last week, since we were gone. Now, last week we had Anno 1800, Final Fantasy X2 or XX2 HD Remastered, My Time in Portia, and World War Z, which surprisingly, World War Z has actually been doing extremely well.
Well, it's Left 4 Dead. What more do you want?
It's Left 4 Dead in third person.
Yeah, and it's got like it's blatant ripoff of Left 4 Dead, and that's fine.
Then also on the 18th, we had Cuphead, Katana Zero, and Our World Is Ended. Katana Zero, I've been being told great things about it, especially if you're a fan of the Hotline series. Definitely check it out because it's very, very close to Hotline Miami.
Well, and it's Digital Devolver Publishing. What more do you want?
Devolver Digital.
Devolver, whatever. Same shit, different file.
On the 23rd, we had Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for Nintendo Switch, and Mortal Kombat 11 just got done talking about that. For everything. And on the 25th, yesterday, we had Citrus Alpha, Imperator Rome, not sure that one, Steam World Quest, Hand of Gigamech, and on the 26th, which was today, Box Boy and Box Girl, Days Gone, and apparently Super Meat Boy Forever came out, but I'm going to have to double check that information from that list. Now, next week, we have next to nothing. So we have Final Fantasy 13, The Zodiac Age, and U-Boat. So yeah, that's cool. All we have for next week.
Cool.
And even the week after, we're going to have Life is Strange and Yakuza Kiwami for PS or for PC. Next month, May itself is very slow. Actually, I'm looking at because we have
we got Rage. That's it.
Yeah, we have. Well, there's also another one I'm very interested in. Is A Plague Tale: Innocence. That one looks really good,
but there's really not much.
Yeah, we also have Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 0, Sonic Team Racing, Total War 3 Kingdoms. But aside from that, like that's not
super slow.
That's a slow month.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll be able to catch up on a lot of stuff here.
Yay! Catching up. I love that.
Catching up time, because after that, the next catch up time we have is August, and even then, Shamoon 3 and Astral Chain comes out.
Astral Chain, that's where it's at, boy. Astral Chain. And then September is ridiculous because it's freaking Catherine and then Freaking Borderlands.
Yep. And November, we have Fallen Order and the remake of 13. I wasn't expecting that.
I know. I was excited for that. And in whatever else they show at A3 going, oh my God, we're doing all this crap.
Exactly. All right. And that is our podcast for today. If you're watching this on YouTube where we do this whole thing live, hit that like and subscribe button and that little notification button in the little corner. And if you're watching this because something happened within the last week, we now have this podcast done audibly and audio only. And we are now available on multiple platforms, including Spotify, Breaker, and Google Podcasts, Radio Public as well. So definitely, if you want to watch us or just listen to us talk, go check us out on those platforms. Well, the links will be in the description if you're on our YouTube channel. And for GameItAll.com, I'm Lucas Grimm.
Hey, what up? It's Pino 25.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.